Hi all, welcome to the session on Ask Me Anything on how to, let's say, crack DILR from the scratch. So can I get some response in the chat, people? You can shoot your questions. So fine, what we have done basically, we have put a Google form where people already have, let's say, shared some of the questions. We will take up those questions first, and in the meantime, you are going to shoot any particular question. We will be happy to answer them. So let's look at a couple of, let's say, questions. The first one, which basically was asked by a student called Rutvik, and he asked a question saying that I'm able to solve questions but taking a lot of time. What can I do about it? Now, first of all, understand, is this a concern at the moment, at the start? Maybe for me, it might not be a very big concern because solving is more important than for me than, let's say, looking at the time frame. So please note in your preparation, you're starting 50 set, 80 set, 100 set. In those 100 set, let's say you are not going to be concerned about, let's say, the time part over here. So in the beginning, kindly focus only on, let's say, solving the set and not looking at how much time are you giving on the initial sets over here. Okay, so yes, we will take up your query as well. So here basically I've asked that, sir, I'm unable to solve sets even after practicing daily. What should I do to improve? So one thing which I possibly think about it, if I may ask you one thing before I answer your question, since how long are you preparing Suyash? You're practicing since 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, and so on. What? And help me in the response. Suyash, good evening, Arushi. Good evening, Ayush. Okay, okay. We'll try to answer, let's say, nearly each and every question as far as possible. So if you look at, suppose someone is asking that I'm able to get 60% correct, but then possibly get stuck. So this question is pertaining to DI or, let's say, possibly a quant over here. Arushi, Kaushik. Fine. So if you look at now, someone asked a question, Richa has asked a question, what are the tips and tricks how to cover the portion of DILR basically in a 6 month time frame? Now, please, let's say, ask yourself, what do you think is a possible good time to crack a set? If I call a set to be something like a easy to medium, and many of you might say, sir, close to 10 minutes, maybe higher side, 15 minutes. So if I look at one set, easy to medium, basically will take close to 10 to 15 minutes, right? Now, the idea basically for you, again, it depends on how much time do you have at your disposal. So my target basically would be in this particular case that every day for the next 6 months or 180 day, I will think about solving 3 sets a day. And if I say 3 sets a day, which basically would mean roughly I'm going to take close to 1 hour. So in this, let's say 1 hour, I will be able to solve those 3 sets. At the same time, wherever I will possibly get stuck, I can refer to the video solution or the text solution to solve that particular set over here. If you do this particular habit, what is going to happen is over a period of 180 days, you are going to solve nearly 540 set, or one can say approximately 500 plus sets over here. And is that a possible good number to see a decent amount of variety? The answer basically would be a good yes over here. Now, what are those good resources which you can possibly take the help of to solve this 540 good sets? And the answer would be IMS courseware. You can refer to IMS benchmarking tests. You can look at the IMS practice sets over here. At the same time, we can look at the actual SimCAT Proctor 20 numbers. and SimCAT, let's say take home as well. Apart from that, you have the section test, and we can take the help of the actual CAT paper as well from 2017 onwards over here. So if you think about solving 5 minute plus set and in 180 days, it's a good amount of, let's say, time being spent on a daily basis. Fine. So one question I think Ayush asked about, how would you recommend set selection in LRDI during mocks, and how much time out of 40 minutes should be given for sets? Very, very important point. Now, please note, in this particular case, this set selection part is very crucial. And I will, let's say, talk about for a couple of minutes on this particular aspect, because this will decide whether you are possibly going to clear the cutoff or not. Set selection. Now understand one thing, the major issue which we normally face in, let's say, DILR is, in case of quant, normally a question might be of 1 line, 2 line, or a possible 3 line. And to read a 1 line, 2 line problem, you might possibly take, let's say, 5, 10 seconds, 15 seconds on a higher side. And then you understand whether you are able to solve this or not, because the question could be from an area in which you are weak in or you are strong at. You are able to understand what input has been given to you, what kind of output has been asked over here. So all these things are easy in case of quant to some extent. Whereas in case of DILR, there will be a, let's say, DI body which is given to you, graph is given to you, then there will be several conditions which are going to given to you, and then you are going to have a set of questions over here. So possibly someone might say, sir, if I spend 10 seconds, 15 seconds, I won't be able to read the entire part, and that is going to be difficult in case of a DILR. So for me, the main thing would be that in those, let's say, initial minute, which I would possibly say what could that number might be, I will possibly give myself close to 1 minute or 1.5 minute to read a particular set. If I'm saying approximately, for me, it's 1 minute approximately. Now, right now, people with a good speed can think about 1.5, and people who are really slow, they are struggling to, let's say, solve even one set, they can go slow. So they can think about, let's say, giving close to 2 minutes. Now you might argue, sir, can I afford to give 2 minutes in a set? And the answer would be definitely a yes. Why so? Because suppose if I say 5 sets are there and the timeline basically is 40 minutes. Now understand one thing, are you thinking about that one set is going to be of 8 minutes? So maybe yes, in case you're thinking to crack all the 5 sets, which is very, very difficult, to be honest. But understand, for someone whose idea is to clear the cutoff, and if I think about I want to solve only 2 sets, and even let's say after spending good 8 to 10 minutes on reviewing which type of set I should pick, I will be having 30 minutes. And if I focus on 2 sets, I am thinking about 15 minutes per set. And that basically is very much doable over here. So again, note this 1.5 or a 2 can vary from person to person. Could be 1 minute for someone who is eyeing for cracking 3.5 to 4 set. 2 minutes for someone who just want to crack 1.5 to 2 set over here. So roughly you can say a person with a good speed is looking for giving somewhere close to 4 to 5 minutes for set selection in total. And on a higher side, I would say maybe give 9 to 10 minutes over here. Now, what are the situation, or you can say condition, I should keep in mind in deciding a particular set? So one of them basically would be, is a set very much familiar? Because sometimes you may come across a set which is something similar to what you have practiced in a mock or during any other practice also. So is the set familiar? Is one important thing. Second thing would be, what type of condition basically are given to you? Are the condition given to you plug-in in nature, or they are inferential based? So understand, moment the conditions given to you are primarily plug-in, in that case we are able to find out the answer in a slightly faster manner. So look at the type of condition which are given, and according you can give a rating. So kindly provide a rating as per the type of set. It's a unique one or a type of standard one. Do you have more of plug-in condition given or more of a deductive reasoning type of condition given? And finally, you also look at the question stems. Don't leave a set without looking at the question. Does your question start with the if condition? Does every question talks about another situation over here? If the answer is yes, maybe it is going to have multiple cases over here. So these are the three factors which I'm going to possibly look at before jumping into a particular set over here. Okay, fine. So we will look at few more things. So someone says good source of question for someone who hasn't enrolled with any coaching institute. So see again, understand one thing. For you right now, if I look at CAT, actual CAT paper are a very good resources. Obviously, one can also take the help of some of the old ZAT paper before 2009, 2010. So at that time, they used to also ask a lot of logical reasoning paper. So if you look at the actual CAT paper is one of the very good resource for someone who want to, let's say, think about only, let's say, non coaching, and various YouTube player also, let's say, provide to give you a practice a day. You can target them as well. Fine. Someone says, will you recommend, let's say, practicing LRDI on a white sheet rather than a ruled sheet? The answer basically is going to be a yes over here. So ultimately, you are going to use a rough, let's say, pen or a possible pencil. You won't have the liberty to use various kinds of pen using a black, red, or a blue pen over here, or possible a pencil. No scale basically would be given. So neatness can't be ensured. But yes, try to form a habit of using a, let's say, plain sheet of paper. IMS module set is sufficient or not. So again, Sivangi over here, that please note that modules, beyond module, you also have to look at the mocks as well. If you say module, then let's say practice, then benchmarking, maybe you can say 60% of each of them, and even a good number of mocks, I would say it's a decent effort which you possibly have made. Hmm? Naveen, not the right forum. You may ask, let's say, your question to a BA mentor in Pandey. Fine. So we got, let's say, a few more questions from IOC saying that he is taking roughly close to 30 minutes. Now, understand one thing, the possible reason of 30 minutes would be that you are possibly not able to decode, let's say, the key information. So sometimes there are some anchor condition. If you are not able to unfold those anchor condition, the set will take a lot of time to be opened over here. So please understand that in case you want to become better in the LR, DI, please note nowadays you don't see a quality DI kind of set where it's actually calculation. It's more about all deductive kind of reasoning sets are being given to you, where you need to potentially decode those statements. So for me, if you look at my habit, how my reasoning skills are getting enhanced day by day, the reason for the same would be I practice. So whenever I'm commuting, let's say from home to office, through a bus, through a cab, through a auto, through a train, and so on, I try to, let's say, solve puzzles. And I will recommend to all of you who want to speed up their reasoning skill, please train bashers.com. It's a super website where you will find different kinds of puzzle. And believe me, all this puzzle solving doesn't require you to, let's say, take out your pen paper. You can do it on the go as well. So over here, I practice different kinds of game. I will just name few of them. One is, one can say, skyscrapers. And believe me, there was a set which was asked on this particular game logic. Then you have something called Calcudoku, Nonogram. So multiple free puzzles basically are available. Then you also have something like ABC. You also have loop in the loop. Uh, then you have light the bulb. . These are couple of game, and please note that each game, for example, if you go to Calcudoku, they will give different levels like 4 cross 4, 5 cross 5, easy, medium, difficult, and you start with the easy one. And my target basically is to crack this particular thing under a minute's time over here. So again, please note, I'm not solving every game on a daily basis, but yes, I randomly pick up 3-4 games on a daily basis, and I give myself 10 to 15 minutes every day in this. So in case people are, let's say, office goers, or they are going to go to their colleges and so on, whenever they are going or possibly coming back, this is something which you can possibly utilize. So one person also asked about that, sir, is it possible to solve DI set while the commute? The answer is difficult because solving DI will require a lot of concentration. But solving these puzzles, short puzzles, are going to really help your skill set being developed. So speed become very, very fast. So apart from this brand measures, I also, let's say, use some other website also. The game like Kakuro, all these are really really useful. Kakurasu. So all this game really help you, let's say, to find out a particular reason of why a number is not going to come at a particular place, and that will enhance your speed. And gradually, the time taken by you to solve a particular set is going to reduce. All right. This is a very good resource, I would say so. Yes. So see, in this particular case, Nakul, to answer your question, first of all, over here, that in DILR, not every set require you to completely solve this set. So that is why I'm saying that before, let's say you think about moving to another set or leaving a particular set, look at the questions. You should know what exactly are they needing over there. So please don't, let's say, waste your time in finding out each and every data. So maybe after a couple of minutes, 4 5 minutes, please look into the set again and see whether you are able to solve one or two questions partially. Sometimes it's a good idea to look at the set question first and then try to attack the questions. So Aryaman, he's asking about how many questions should someone attempt or look to attempt to have a shot at 99 plus kind of percent. Now, if you ask me, let's say couple of maybe a year back before CAT 24, everyone would possibly say that go for a number like 18 to 20, which potentially means solving close to 1 to 1.5 sets. And again, note, in case I'm going with a low attempt like one set or 1.5 to 2 set, I can't afford to make too many mistakes. That is very, very important over. So now, in case you say 99 plus, last year, CAT 24 was an aberration, you might call it, where the difficulty was slightly reduced. Now understand what is going to happen is, generally, you go to a particular pitch. Let's say, for example, Wankhede, if you remember, Dale Steyn has told it will be the first time, most likely on a particular day at Wankhede, Hyderabad will score more than 300. So they go with a preconceived notion that it's a very high scoring pitch and we are easily going to score a 300 plus. But suddenly on that particular day, fail to score, I think, beyond 170 or something. So again, going into a test with a preconceived notion that, okay, I'm only focusing on two sets, sometime could be disaster. Parliament, to answer your question, don't go with a preconceived notion. Yes, in the past, if you are able to solve two sets completely and with a high accuracy, you are bound to get a 99 percentile. But last year, I think the requirement might be around 2.5 to 3. Why? Because if all the sets basically are slightly on the easier side or easy to medium side, the people who was able to do two set will be able to do three because time taken to solve a set will reduce. At the same time, people who are able to solve 3, 3.5 or 4, even their attempt basically has gone up in this particular year. Even for me, I was able to solve nearly 4 plus set over here, 4.5 sets. That is why I would say don't go with a preconceived notion because sometimes the paper might be difficult. And again, you might see this year that there could be a possibility of the cutoff of 99, maybe around two sets over here. Okay, someone asked a good question. Let's go has told, should we look to solve every question of a set, or sometimes it's a good idea, let's say, to solve maybe 3 out of 5, or let's say 4 out of 5, or 3 out of 4, whatever the case might be. To understand, for me, it's always about your strike rate. So in case I think in a particular set, 4 questions are easy, and maybe the amount of time to solve the last one will be equal to what I have spent in the first four, it is better to let go of such questions. So it's not about solving entire question. Sometimes it's a good idea to crack 3 easy questions out of 5 or 3 out of 4 and kindly move on. Okay, Swagato Das has asked a question. Last year I did not clear the cutoff only in DILR with good percentile in the other two. So you're sorted, let's say right now, with respect to BARC and a quant. And understand, Swagato, what I believe is the possible reason again could be you might have, let's say, underestimated the paper, or you should say you have overestimated the paper, thinking I am only going with 2 sets, 1.5 set, and that could be one of the possible reason for not being able to clearing the cutoff in this case. So in this case, I would say, what are the things you should practice for you as a repeater? If you ask me, is time an important constraint, let's say, to solve a particular set? Maybe the answer is yes. Because already in the previous year, you might have, let's say, done a decent practice of solving maybe 200, 300, 400 sets. So the whole idea is now you should not miss even a single SIMCAT. So all the SIMCAT proctored, all the SIMCAT take home. At the same time, you should look at all the benchmarking tests and try to attempt those papers. And again, after each and every paper, try to analyze each and every set properly. For the one which you found out to be difficult, I would say try out looking at the video solution. Obviously, you will find me and Amit sir in most of the videos, and then try to attack the AI based question. What happens is, if you watch the solution, you get the idea about how did we crack this particular set. But then, if you try to solve the AI based question, most likely you will also be able to replicate the same shots over there. So please note, just watching will not be enough. You watch something, try to practice on your own so that the same magic can be performed by you, Swagato. Arushi is asking that what percent of question being asked, let's say in coding, decoding, and relationship in CAT and Silog. So Silog used to be tested earlier in CAT. It used to come before 2005, Arushi. In the recent time, we have not seen Silog question being tested in CAT. As far as the coding part is concerned, again, we have not seen too much of coding in the recent CAT. But yes, there was 1 year in which a coding question has come, and I recollect properly, you can check it out. Something like peacock, peacock is the national bird of India. So we only have, let's say, seen one LR based set on, you can say, mixed coding logic, which was asked in CAT. And believe me, you can try it out, you can search in Google, and this was not an easy question. So I will request you can try it out, Google it. Peacock is the national bird of India, and there was a good set which was asked in CAT in the recent, in 2017 or something. See, Ansh is saying that he's able to solve all the practice exercise question in DILR and benchmarking as well. I think, Anshit, you are meant to say those which are given to you as set form, easy, medium, difficult. Yeah, so I think roughly we are close to 120 odd sets. And given the amount of time which is remaining over here, I would say yes, you should look for solving all those sets which are given to you as DILR practice. Yeah, again, Ricky asked a question that sometime I feel confident in LRDI and sometime I don't. See, the only problem is in case of quant, with a good amount of practice, one can ensure that they become very strong in a particular area. But in case of DILR, as you know, we don't have any syllabus. Every time you solve a set, it appears that it's a totally new set. And the issue with the totally new set is you don't know how to start such a kind of, let's say, set over here. And that is why Moment you solve a good number of sets, see again understand, if your experience is only of solving 50 set, 40 set, chances that you are unlikely to find something very, very similar. But moment someone says that they have practiced a good number of variety, and suppose someone says they have solved close to 1,000 sets, then they will be in a good position to know, fine, whenever a Venn diagram, let's say, set comes to you, then out of, let's say, 10 times, I'm able to solve them on 7 occasions. It simply means one thing, Venn diagram for me happens to be a strongest area. So, moment I have a good, let's say, practice, I will be able to know whether I'm good at something or bad at something. And that will help me in a good decision making. Otherwise, what people do is, sometimes people say I'm good in DILR, let me attack only DI. Sometimes they say I'm good in LR, I will only attack the LR. Now there could be a possibility of difficult LR or a difficult DI. So please don't make your judgment only based on a good DI or a good LR over here. Look at all the 4 sets. Pritos Thomas, who asked about exact X and Y, it's not required. Huh? Sometimes making an estimate is going to be more than enough, and CAT doesn't want you to find out the exact numbers. So not to worry too much on that front. Thanks, Akash. So as someone told Omkar, when you asked about the number of set you want to do, so it all depends basically on how much time you have at disposal. As I told you, if I want to do justice to one particular set, solving, as I told you, solving a set might take 10 to 15 minutes. This is on the average basis. But now understand one thing, solving will take 10 to 15, but is solving enough? Because there is chances that you might be able to not solve it. All of them are wrong as well. So maybe solving plus review is very, very important. So maybe if you want to review it, give yourself another 10 to 15 minutes. So maybe if I'm giving approximately 30 minutes to a set, it can reduce also with time for sure, because if you get it right, there's no need to review properly. But in this case, if you look at solving plus review will approximately take 20 to, let's say, 30 minutes over here. So in case you are someone who is not, let's say, currently working, and you have done your, let's say, graduation as well, ample time is there at your disposal, you can attack 3 to 4 sets minimum. So 3 sets if you can afford 1.5 hours on a daily basis. Omkar, to answer your question. Nand, I think I've answered that particular part, how you improve the set selection. Look at 3 factors: type of set, type of condition, and type of questions. And again, to be good at that, you need to practice a good variety of sets. Fine. Now again, suppose if I ask a question to you over here, that will you prefer doing, let's say, 8 hours of gym on a single day, or you will prefer to, let's say, do 1 hour of gym every day? What is better? Please reply. 8 hours of gym on only on Sunday, or 1 hour of gym, let's say, every day? Which is better? The answer definitely has to be 1 hour, let's say, of gymming every day. It's much better than 8 hours. The body won't be able to, let's say, take so much of pressure of, let's say, 8 hours. So what I've seen, sometime in the preparation, people, let's say, tend to solve LR for the entire day, maybe a good 7 hour, 8 hour, 10 hour. That is not the ideal thing which I want. What I want is more of whether you are more consistent. So in case you are consistent, and sometimes it is fine to solve also one set. One set only require, let's say, you need to give 15-20 minutes over here. So it's perfectly fine if you can't solve 3 sets on a daily basis. But can you make an average of 2 sets as well? That's going to be more than sufficient. So make it more consistent. Even if you're not feeling, let's say, well on a particular day, give yourself 15 to 20 minutes. Go for one set. Look for variety as much as. Hmm? So please try to be more consistent is the important part. And please note one thing, when you have your diets, do you eat only protein, only carbs, only fat? The answer is no. In your meal, it has to be some component of each, like carbohydrates, let's say, or protein and the fats as well. Similarly, if someone asks me on a daily basis, should I only do quant? Should I do only verbal? Should I do only DILR? My answer would be no. As far as possible, try to make a combination of all the three. Maybe give some time to DILR, and that number can be 1 hour to 45 minutes or 1.5 hour, depending on how much time do you have at disposal. Some time for reading habit. So maybe 1 hour on, let's say, RC and solving some reading, some articles, some, let's say, Aeon passages and so on. At the same time, give yourself some time to quant as well. So maybe 1 hour each of DI, 1 hour, let's say, for verbal, and let's say 1.5 to 2 hours for quant. If you give yourself 4 hour daily basis, believe me, it's more than sufficient to crack CAT. Regarding SimCAT, someone asked, Aryan asked, is it okay to start solving them even if we have not done first and second module? So see, again, the answer for this would be, in DILR, you don't have any syllabus. So right now, if I ask you, can you guarantee me, for example, someone who has done only module 1 and someone who might have done all the module 1, 2, 3, and 4, any guarantee that this guy, first guy, and let's say guy number 2, do you think guy number 2 can guarantee that will be able to solve more set than the person as guy number 1? And the answer again might be a big no. Why? Because there's no predefined syllabus as far as, let's say, DILR is concerned. So please note, for DILR, even an engineer, non-engineer, everyone basically comes in the same level, because this thing has never been taught to you in your school days or college days, right? So if you want to take up, let's say, SimCATs, the answer basically should be a yes. Maybe after module number 1, you should start taking, let's say, SimCATs. Again, someone might ask, sir, for someone who will do all the 4 modules, he must have done arithmetic, algebra, geometry, everything. I agree. For someone, let's say, who might have done module number 1 and module number 2, they have done entire algebra and arithmetic and a bit of numbers also. And tell me one thing, do you think arithmetic and algebra together will account for a good number of problems? Out of 22, you might say around 14 questions approximately, or 15 maybe also sometime. And do you think 15 questions are good enough to attack at? The answer can be very much a yes over. If you watch video solutions for DILR while commuting to work, will that help? Definitely help. So again, what I normally suggest is, if you have less time, Arushi, in that case, solve. Let's say, for example, I leave at 8 a.m. in the morning. You get up at 6 a.m. and do, let's say, all your initial work before you head to the office. Maybe I will give myself 45 minutes or maybe half an hour, let's say 30 minutes. I will solve the 2 sets. Now, there could be a chance I am not able to solve both of them. Now, in the commute, I will utilize that commute time to watch the solution, to understand where possibly you have gone wrong. Yes, you should use it. Tournaments, again, polytunes, don't worry too much about tournament, because you would be able to do it once the module number 3 is covered. You would be able to solve them properly. Module number 2. Yeah, this is very, very crucial. So someone asked over here, Pratik, and someone else also. Please note, I have a strategy called stop loss. People who invest in stock market might have heard about this. And please hear me out. This is very, very crucial and applicable to most of you. Now, as I told, in case of quant, let's say I read a problem in 15 seconds. I thought I can do it. I invest my time. And believe me, after 2 minutes, do you think you should be able to solve it ideally? And the most likely answer has to be a yes. You should be able to solve close to 2.5 minutes. But at the end of 2 minutes, if I'm not able to see any, let's say, ray of hope, then the ideal thing which I can do is leave that particular question. But the problem is, in DILR, do you think you can make that judgment after maybe 1 or 2 minutes? The answer would be a plain no. We cannot make an inference only after 1 or 2 minutes. And believe me, many of you who might have lost the cutoff last year or were practicing over here, sometime do you think a single set sometime kills 15 minutes? 20 minutes, 25 minutes as well. And understanding a test of 40 minutes, can you afford to devote a time of 20, 25 minutes in single set? And the answer has to be a no. So for that reason, what I say is that you already have read the set initially. You have spent, let's say, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes approximately in a particular set. Yes, you thought the set is easy. You entered into it. You have given, let's say, 5 to 6 minutes. I will ask myself, after every 5 odd minutes, am I making a progress? Keep on asking yourself, are you making a progress? If the answer happens to be a yes, then continue. If you feel, because tell me one thing, after 5 to 6 minutes, do you think you should be able to get some missing data? Something or the other should be found out, right? Some unknown, some variable, some constraint. Answer has to be yes. If you are not able to find anything, means you are stuck. And the best thing at this particular moment you can do is, if you are not seeing any success, no breakthrough, walk out of that set. You might say you lost 5 to 6. I perfectly agree with you that it's a loss of 5 minutes, 6 minutes. But believe me, you have gained time to solve something easy. That is the concept of stop loss, where you suppose have purchased something for rupee 100. You thought the price will go up, but to avoid the losses, you told, in case suppose price reaches 98, sell it off. So have you got a loss? The answer is yes, but you have tried to minimize the loss over here. So always take a judicious call after 5 6 minutes. Are you making any breakthrough? Because understand, anyone can make mistakes in judgment. Sometime I might think a set is easy, I entered into it, but eventually it came out to be on a difficult side. It can happen with me as well. All right, people. Nakul, I'm not able to get your question. Do you mean to say something which you already have solved in the recent couple of months? Nakul, can help? Any other question, people, which I missed out? So no need. See, in case you have solved something already and you're not able to solve, if you can get a replica, please do it. Otherwise, no point. Let's say no new learning will happen to the same set again and again. So my advice will be no, big no. Move to some other variety. Any further questions, people? So to answer the question, Bollytunes, understand he's asking about tournament specifically. Now in this, you should first of all look at what type of, let's say, game they can ask you for. One type is known as round robin. Then other type is known as a knockout. So something like badminton or tennis. Then you could have something on the lines of, let's say, football, where the goal for and goal against are given. The moment, suppose if you get some idea about round robin, knockout, and the, let's say, goal for and goal against kind of scenario, then you would be in a condition, let's say, to crack this type of sets over. So variety could range from knockout, round robin, and so on. Betting set, I have not seen too much of betting sets. Can you tell me what exactly you meant here? So odds in favor, normally you meant to say odds in favor, odds against. Omkar, if you are just starting your preparation, maybe 2 weeks back and just a month back, right now the focus should be on accuracy, and gradually you should look at importance to both accuracy and time. Aniket, right now, if you look at with the 6 month time frame, I should say minimum you should try for 500 sets. A ballpark number, it could be 50 plus minus here and there, but minimum 500 set you should look for. Yeah, Rushi, for that you have to keep a track on the time. The timer is always there right in front of you. So when you're saying you're practicing, keep a stopwatch, keep an alarm. So keep an alarm of let's say 5 minutes. So sometime you will become cautious after 5 minutes. So that is the first, let's say, alarm at which you have to take a call. Are you making progress? Give an answer, yes or no. If yes, continue. If no, maybe you think about walking out from the set. As I told, you should look for your cat. Uh, you can look for the actual cat volumes, actual cat, and let's say past. You can look for the GMAT questions as well. So GRE, I think GRE, not GMAT, sorry. GRE used to ask, let's say, some logical reasoning based question. One can refer to the old GRE big book if you can get the access. So old cat paper, even you can try out 2003, 2008 as well, and 2017 to 24, all the cat papers. You can also refer some of the IIT paper. IFT have been discontinued. So right now one can solve couple of, let's say, LR based question from IFT old paper as well. Anything else, people? Uh, Karthikeyan, I think I've answered that particular part. How to choose a particular set. I gave three parameters again: type of set, type of conditions, and type of questions. So fine, I think no more questions. So should I wrap it up? See, Pratik, if you are saying challenges by solving the caselet, is there any way to approach? See, again, the point is sometime in a DI set, it contains, let's say, 20 information. Out of 20, you might say five of them are just distortion or noise, which you just can neglect. But remaining 10 to 15, you have to try to interpret each of them in a proper manner and look for those 15, let's say, pointers and ask yourself how many of the information are direct. So always someone asks that, sir, should we, how do you start? How do you start? Let's say if I have point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5, point 6, point 7. If you want solution, sometimes we say, if you look at point number 3, this and this. If you look at point number 5, so and so. So why do we start with 3, then 5, then let's say 4, and so on? And the answer is to first of all look at from these pointers the condition, which of them are giving you the direct information. So let's say point number 3 was plugin, point number 5 was also plugin. So always look at the type of condition and you start with the plugin condition so that the number of cases can be reduced significantly. No, there is no fixed way as such. Arushi, please note one of the method won't work always. I will give you one example, especially in case of Venn diagram. If I ask you what is Venn diagram, people might say it's a way to represent the data, right? It's a way to represent data. Now, if someone asks you, let's say we have made a three variable Venn: cricket, hockey, and football. And suppose if I ask you, what does this number might indicate? Let's say if I call this number is 40. What does the number 40 represent? In this particular case, you might say 40 represent number of people who play only cricket and hockey. You can use the term people who play cricket and hockey but not football. So this is a good representation because all the three parameters one can say are sort of homogeneous. But what about, suppose if I say this is Mumbai, this is a male, and the guy is a vegetarian. So in this particular scenario, if someone asks you, what is this person? Let's say if I talk about 40, who are these 40 people? So in this case, if someone asks you who are these 40 people, if you look at the three parameter, one is Mumbai, city name, other is a male, gender, and one is the type of food they prefer, vegetarian food or let's say veg food or a non-veg food. So in this particular context, Venn diagram might not be the best way to represent data. And the good thing which you possibly want now would be something like this. So maybe you can write down here male, female, then you can have here veg, non-veg, veg, non-veg, and you can also have, let's say over here Mumbai and let's say Kolkata. If you look at over here in the Venn diagram also we can solve it, but this is a good way to represent data. When the three parameter basically have different characteristics like city, gender, and let's say type of food, then table become better than the Venn diagram notation. This 40, one can say, are part of Mumbai circle, are not part of male circle, are not part of veg circle. What does this mean? This 40 people are from Mumbai, they are the female and they prefer non-veg food. That's the interpretation from this particular portion. So no fixed way. Every set will give you some sort of learning, and on that particular day you will find out the best way to represent, the easiest way to represent. Blood relation, Kartike, don't worry, it's not going to be too important as far as that is concerned. Fine, so are we done, people? No fixed way. Learning, every set will give you a new learning. Because the moment you say you have done X number of problem, you will find another set which is going to be new for you and new for me as well. Sometimes we also face that difficulty. It's about keep on solving new and new sets. Okay. Thank you all. And again, we are going to meet soon, let's say with another Ask Me Anything on Quant now. Thank you. Aryan, you have sufficient resources. Believe me, IMS have, let's say, a good amount of resource, class, exercise, practice, benchmarking, practice sets, SimCats, 40 plus SimCat, section test, too many. So once you're done with that, then let me know, Aryan. Of course, your actual cat is there. Thank you, people. Thank you for the time. See you again.